Before you perform in front of a crowd, it's natural to practice what you're going to perform so you can present your best work at said performance. You may want your performance to be good for a multitude of reasons, so this creates the ever-present feeling of anxiety. Everyone experiences it, everyone knows it, but the catch is you can't control it, and it will always be there. So naturally, multiple strategies have been formed to suppress this feeling, the most common being the maximization of practice. This allows for the performer to be able to go on stage and emulate the best mock performance they gave while practicing. This idea can be transferred from this grand scale right into video games, more specifically fighting games. When first booting up Tekken, my goal was to reach purple ranks. Therefore, my performance was queuing up for every session of ranked, therefore applying an added layer of anxiety to my sessions. Every session I played resulted in some amount of rage, especially after reaching Garyu rank or red ranks. Full disclosure, I have now deranked and re-ranked back up to Garyu around 5 times now. This adds yet another layer because I want to get out of this elo so bad. So what do you do in this scenario? You hit the lab. Are you getting pounded out by Bryant? Watch your replays against him and learn which strings to duck. Are you unable to tech every throw? Go into the lab and see how the animations differ for each throw. This solution is what everyone says works, but just like performing a clarinet solo in front of hundreds of people, you will still be anxious and mental stack in the moment, resulting in you panicking and forgetting when to duck even though you labbed it out, forgetting throw animations, and still dropping combos. This phenomenon is something I have dubbed ranked anxiety. Much like performance anxiety, you have a fear of messing up. Because you're playing a game, you're not in front of a crowd, it's just some random person on the other end. Ranked anxiety plagues people at every level of play. Just look at any tournament and somewhere in there, somebody will drop a combo, forget to duck a string, or not take a throw. So how do you overcome ranked anxiety? Well, again, like a performance, you keep practicing, or you can take the other route that I've dubbed tanking. In most sports, tanking is done to get a higher pick in a draft, or start to rebuild the team from the ground up. In Tekken, the term holds a similar sentiment. Instead of playing to win, you're playing to learn. Don't focus on depleting the opponent's health to 0 every game. Instead, focus on defense. Challenge yourself. Can you block every single string your opponent throws at you perfectly? This way of playing hinders ranked anxiety because you're not playing to win, you're playing to learn. The tanking playstyle is also very enjoyable because instead of getting frustrated yourself, you can now see your opponent slowly getting fed up with your defense. Eventually, after you're able to overcome the ranked anxiety in some particular manners, such as teching throws or ducking correctly, you'll find yourself winning games because of your newly acquired defensive abilities. Now, in my opinion, tanking is essential in low ranks because of how many fundamental abilities it allows you to master. Instead of walking or wave dashing up to your opponent and mashing, you'll start to space correctly and whiff punish, which feels so much more satisfying. You will also start to feel yourself improving, whether that's beating higher ranked players or going on insane win streaks. However, tanking also has its negatives. At the start, you will go on a massive loss streak and get frustrated because while you've been practicing your spacing in the lab, the enemy victor will still just keep mashing too and you'll start to feel overwhelmed. But rest assured, you will start to see yourself climb because most players in the lower ranks won't know how to respond when you start to block every string and punish them accordingly. Now, these two strategies are not silver bullets. You will still get anxious and misinput your health sweeps, but you will find that the anxiety becomes so much more manageable over time. Another thing you must take into account is that anxiety in general differs from person to person. I personally get very anxious, even though I have been a performer for so many years of my life, so naturally I struggle with ranked anxiety very much. Finally, the real solution to ranked anxiety, just like everything else involving fighting games, is time. The more time you put into anything, the better you get at it. The more you play ranked, the more it will feel regular, and you'll start to adapt to ranked anxiety. Farewell, RIP Fuller.